Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Daily Easy English Talk. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so let's dive in. We're talking about those moments, right? When someone's talking to you and they're just going a bit too fast. It happens to everyone. Our goal here is to give you some really simple tools, easy phrases to just gently tap the brakes.
Absolutely. And it's really about effective communication, isn't it? Sometimes that just means knowing how to ask for what you need politely. It's a skill, really. Helps bridge those little gaps in understanding.
Exactly. So where do we start? One really simple, friendly way, just to begin with, like a small apology, makes it sound softer. Something like, sorry, could you speak a little more slowly? That sorry just adds a bit of extra friendliness, or maybe even add context like, sorry, could you speak a little more slowly? I'm still learning.
And framing it that way, like, I'm still learning, or maybe I just need a sec,
Yeah.
it makes the request about your situation. It's not like you're criticizing how they talk, which makes it much easier, I think, for people to hear and respond positively. It feels less pointed.
Right. It's about you needing a little help, not them doing something wrong. Okay, what about being more direct about the reason? Another way is to just explain the context right away, like this. I'm still learning English. Can you slow down a bit?
Yeah.
It clearly shares what's going on for you and asks for that specific adjustment. The full phrase could be, I'm still learning English. Can you slow down a bit, please?
And being open like that, saying why you need them to slow down, it can be really, well, disarming. It often makes people more patient. It kind of invites them to help you out, builds a little connection, maybe.
That makes a lot of sense. Turns a tricky moment into maybe something more collaborative.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if you didn't just struggle with the speed, you actually missed something? There's a phrase for that too, right? One that asks for a repeat and adjusts the pace.
Yes, it
It's
could.
like, would you mind repeating that a bit slower?
Yeah.
It's quite polite, handles both problems at once.
Asking someone to repeat something is totally normal, happens all the time in conversation. Adding that a bit slower part is just, it's practical. It directly tells them what you need to catch it the second time around. Super useful.
Perfect. Okay, and for just everyday chat, maybe something supernatural if you just, whoosh, missed it. How about, I didn't catch that. Can you say it slowly? Short, clear.
Yeah, that one's great because it's so direct but still polite enough for most situations. It clearly states the issue, didn't catch that, and the fix. Say it slowly. Very efficient.
Right. Gets the job done. Okay, one last one. This one kind of emphasizes that you're genuinely trying to follow along. You could say, can you speak more slowly, please? I want to understand.
Yes.
Adding that I want to understand part shows respect, shows you're engaged, and you value what they're saying. The example being, can you speak more slowly, please? I really want to understand you.
And that's powerful. When you signal that you value the conversation, that you genuinely want to understand them, it's really motivating. It encourages the other person to adjust, It makes it a shared effort towards clear communication, not just you asking for a favor.
So there we have it. Just a few simple, pretty friendly phrases you can use. Tools to help make sure communication flows smoothly, even when the pace gets a little quick.
Yeah, and just mastering these small, polite ways to ask for what you need, it really empowers you in pretty much any conversation. Think about it. Just asking in the right way can change a moment of frustration or confusion into one where you actually connect better. Something to keep in mind. Different levels of formality, different ways to frame the need, and seeing them in action can really help make it click, which one feels right when.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's step into some common situations, see how they sound.
Good idea. Let's start with one we've probably all faced. A busy cafe. Noisy, maybe, background chatter, barista rattling off options or questions super fast.
Oh, yeah. The morning rush.
Exactly. High pressure, quick transaction, noise, maybe the barista's rushed off their feet. You need clarity now. Which phrase is quick, polite, gets the job done?
Okay, let's try one. I'll be the customer.
Right. Roleplay barista speaking very quickly. Okay, what can get for you today? We're having a special loaner cranberry muffins, sir. Would you prefer a plain croissant on, perhaps?
Sorry, could you speak a little more slowly? I didn't catch that.
Perfect. See, in that moment, sorry, could you speak a little more slowly? I didn't catch that. It works great.
Why that combo specifically?
Well, busy, noisy place. Brevity and clarity are key. Sorry, politely interrupts. I didn't catch that. Immediately explains why you missed the options.
Right.
So the barista gets it instantly. Repeat that. Slower. You get the info you need to order. Efficient self-advocacy when the coffee's on the line.
Definitely high stakes. And think about how often you might just guess or get the wrong thing because it went too fast. This phrase stops that.
puts you back in control. Okay, different scene. A learning environment.
Like a class or training.
Yeah. Language class, university lecture, work training explaining a new system. The speaker, teacher, instructor is going just a bit too fast for you to take notes or really absorb it.
Okay. Context here is learning, so asking for adjustments is kind of expected, right?
Generally, yes. It shows you're engaged. So leaning into your learner status can work well.
All right, let's hear it. You be the teacher this time.
Okay. Role play teacher explaining complex concept. So building on our previous discussion of quantum entanglement, the non-locality implies that measurement outcomes are correlated instantaneously, regardless of the spatial separation, which violates classical intuitions about causality, but is consistently confirmed by Bell tests.
Excuse me, I'm still learning English. Can you slow down a bit?
Nicely done. Using "I'm still learning English, can you slow down a bit?" Fits perfectly there.
Why is it so effective in class?
Because "I'm still learning English" provides that crucial context. The teacher understands why you need it slower. Classmates probably do too. Doesn't imply the teacher's bad, just explains your need. And a bit keeps it sounding reasonable. It signals the instructor might need to adjust for the group. Turns your need into something understandable within that learning goal.
So really useful in any learning situation, class, workshop, training.
Absolutely. It helps you build that solid understanding from the start. Prevents that snowball effect where you miss the beginning and then nothing makes sense.
Good point. Okay, next scenario. The phone. Always tricky. No visual cues.
Right. And often you're getting important instructions. Tech support, customer service details, directions maybe, and the voice is just rattling things off.
Yeah, numbers, steps, names.
Phone calls are tough. Purely audio. Hard to signal confusion visually. And if you need to write things down, you need time. Accuracy is vital.
Okay, let's role play a phone call. Getting some instructions.
Role play getting phone instructions. So you'll need to go to the main website, log in, click My Account, then navigate to Billing Settings, find the section labeled Payment Methods, click Edit, enter your new card number, which is 4929-1234-5678-9012, expiry 0827, CVC 123, then hit Save Changes. Got all that.
Whoa, okay. Would you mind repeating that a bit slower? I want to write it down.
See, that phrase, "Would you mind repeating that a bit slower? I want to write it down," is perfect for the phone.
Why that specific one again?
Would you mind repeating that? Is polite for interrupting, focuses on the bit you missed, and crucially, adding "I want to write it down" gives a totally understandable practical reason.
Everyone gets needing to write down numbers.
Exactly, like card numbers, addresses, reference codes. It makes your request completely reasonable. You need it slower to capture it accurately.
How many times have you hung up and thought, wait, what was that number again? Because it just flew by. This phrase helps you catch it.
Empowers you when those visual cues are missing. Okay, let's shift to something more casual. Meeting someone new.
Party, social event.
Yeah, casual chat, getting to know each other. They're telling you about themselves, where they're from, job, hobbies, but the details are coming thick and fast.
Because they're relaxed, maybe using slang.
Right. It can be surprisingly fast.
Yeah.
But you want to show you're interested, right? Which means actually catching what they're saying.
Okay, let's try that.
All right. Role play casual chat.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just got back from backpacking through Southeast Asia, like totally amazing. Went to Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, a whirlwind. Before that, I was finishing my master's in marine biology down in San Diego. Grew up in Chicago, though. Huge Cubs fan.
Wow, okay, that sounds incredible. I didn't catch that last part. Can you say it slowly?
Yeah.
The bit after Southeast Asia?
Nice. Using "I didn't catch that, can you say it slowly?" fits that casual vibe really well.
Feels natural.
Very. "I didn't catch that" is everyday language. Casual way to say you missed something without it being a big deal. Pairing it with "can you say it slowly" is direct, but fine in a relaxed chat. Shows you're listening and curious enough to ask. Helps build that connection.
Yeah, first impressions count. You want them to know you're actually listening to their story. This helps you do that without feeling awkward.
Exactly. Smooths over those little speed bumps in casual conversation. Okay, final scenario. You're a tourist.
Lost in a new city, need directions.
You stop a local, ask how to get somewhere, or use the transport. They know it like the back of their hand, so they might give you directions really fast. Street names, bus numbers, landmarks, all unfamiliar to you.
And getting it wrong means getting lost. Accuracy is key.
Totally. Locals often speak quickly because it's automatic for them. Overwhelming for a visitor.
So how do you handle that? Let's try it. You're the helpful local. I'm the tourist.
Okay. Roleplay asking for directions. Right, mate, easy peasy. Go straight down this road till you hit the roundabout. Take the third exit onto Queen Street. Walk about 200 meters, you'll see a big Boots Chemist on your left. Turn right just after that onto Market Lane. Keep going past the pub called the Old Swan, and the museum's just on your right after the pedestrian crossing. Simple.
Okay, thank you. Could you speak more slowly, please?
Sure.
I want to make sure I understand.
Great choice there. Can you speak more slowly, please? I want to make sure I understand. Works really well.
Why that one for directions?
The basic request, can you speak more slowly, please, is clear and polite, but adding, I want to make sure I understand, that's gold for directions.
Because getting it right matters.
Exactly. It highlights the practical need for accuracy. You need to get there. The local giving directions wants to help you succeed, usually, so framing it around accurate understanding makes perfect sense to them.
Yeah, prevents travel stress. Getting lost is the worst. Whether it's directions, ticket instructions, tour guide info, understanding the details is crucial. This phrase is like a safety net.
It really is. Appeals to their helpfulness, frames it around the shared goal of you getting where you need to go.
So we walked through 5 phrases, see them in cafes, classrooms, phone calls, chats, getting directions.
And looking at them in these contexts, you really see how practical they are, don't you? They're not just theoretical sentences, they're actual tools to manage information flow when it matters, helping you get the details you need.
Right. So now it's your turn, listening in. Think about how you might use these. We've heard them, talked about why they work. Let's throw a couple more situations out there. Think about which phrase feels right for you.
Yeah, exactly. Consider the situation, who you're talking to, what feels comfortable. Often there's more than one right way, but some might fit better.
Okay, first one to think about. You're at a busy airport, check-in desk, maybe, or asking about a gate change, baggage claim. Staff are busy, maybe stressed, talking fast, it's noisy. You need critical info, like right now.
Airports. Speed, noise, urgency, vital details. You need politeness for the service interaction, but efficiency too.
Yeah.
So which phrase lets you politely interrupt, get them to slow down for that gate number or boarding time without a long explanation? What do you think?
I'm thinking maybe that first one. Sorry, could you speak a little more slowly? Seems quick and polite.
That's a really strong contender, yeah. Concise, signals the need immediately. Sorry, handle the interruption in that busy setting. It prioritizes getting that essential info clearly, fast, minimal fuss.
Okay, second situation. Back on the phone. Someone's giving you complex info,
Yeah.
tech support steps, maybe detailed directions again you're trying to follow. Maybe you write it down, but whoosh, they speed up, you miss a key step or number.
Right. Phone again. Pure audio. Maybe multitasking with notes. Speed's a killer. You miss something specific, need it repeated accurately. Which phrase is polite enough for an interruption, asks for that bit again, slower, especially if you need to capture it?
Maybe would you mind repeating that a bit slower? Possibly adding the I want to write it down part?
Excellent choice. Targets the missed info. Requests the right speed for processing or writing. Polite, functional, shows you were listening, just need that segment again. Good for getting that accurate recovery.
Okay. Last practice thought. Asking directions from a local on the street again. Helpful person, but talking a mile a minute. Unfamiliar names, lots of turns.
Yep. Need accurate steps. High risk of error if you miss something. Which phrase politely asks for slower speed and emphasizes your genuine desire to follow correctly, showing you're engaged but need clarity for navigation?
That feels like the last one we discussed.
Yeah.
Can you speak more slowly, please? I want to understand. Or maybe I want to make sure I understand.
Exactly. Highlights your need stems from wanting to follow their instructions accurately. Makes the request very practical and understandable from their point of view. Shows you value their help and want to use it properly.
Okay. So there we have it. 5 tools explored in different settings. They really aren't just about politeness, are they? They're functional, helping you manage speed, get information, learn, connect.
Absolutely. And, being able to use these confidently, it's a genuinely critical skill. It's about navigating information effectively. Becoming truly well-informed, it's intellectual self-advocacy, really.
Making sure the input is clear.
Exactly. Ensuring that raw input, the spoken English, comes in at a rate you can actually process. That's the foundation for understanding, for thinking critically, for learning anything. Without clear input, everything else is shaky.
And it's not weakness,
Yeah.
right? It's a smart communication strategy. Shows you value the conversation enough to get it right. Prevents misunderstandings.
Yeah.
Builds better connections.
Totally. Mastering asking for clarity, including asking someone to slow down, is one of the most practical communication skills you can develop. Period. It's proactive. Helps you avoid that information overload. Ensures your understanding is solid.
So, something to think about as we wrap up this deep dive. How many times in the past might you have missed something valuable? Information, connection, instructions. Just because the speed was too high and maybe you didn't feel equipped to ask.
And flipping that around, how might mastering these simple phrases change things for you going forward? Your ability to learn, to connect, to navigate. Where could you try using just one of these this week and just, notice the difference it makes?
That's a powerful thought to leave with. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into taking control of communication speed.
My pleasure. Keep listening, keep learning, and don't be afraid to ask. And hey, if you found this deep dive into replying to apologies helpful today, please do subscribe to Daily Easy English Talk.
That way you don't miss any of our future chats and language tips.
We really hope this was useful for you.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.